I agree that these were all short term, and that the things that we could do were to observe others delivering these sessions, to speak to experienced deliverers about how they deliver these sessions, observations and feedback of us delivering, and also co-delivery, so that we've got some support when we're in the room.
Cool. That sounds to everyone else.
Yeah. But although we said some of this is quick wins, to probably work on developing your knowledge around particular subjects and the skill about how to deliver to different groups, that probably goes long term. There's some quick win things there, but I think to see the results, they're long term.
Absolutely.
Because we talked around people leave selling with WOW, and it's like, where do I start? I can't implement everything together, and I think that's the same for us delivering it. That, you know, there's elements, work on them, and then move on to maybe other parts of the course, because we don't expect everyone to leave their train and be able to deliver it all perfectly.
Yeah.
Lou, sorry, question for you. We were videoing delivery, and you use it for calibrations. Is there an opportunity to learn resource for yes?
Stealing someone's stuff.
Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
It's never such a good idea, though.
So before you steal it completely, do you want to share your solution?
Well, yeah, it was that. A really, really good idea, and I don't think anyone else in the room's thought of it. But a fantastic idea is that we have some kind of learning academy that we can run. I feel right.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And I did see Alison hovering around.
And I think I said this, I don't know, at the last sustainability day as well, actually. But we could use Yammer because you can put video clips on it. So we could have a Yammer that's just for us, it's private, and we can upload the video clips to it.
Just knocking them off the park, well done.
I would also like an advisor Yammer on selling with WOW as
That
well.
would be cool.
Sharing best practice.
Do you want to shove that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so something British Gas do in one of their call centres is they have something called a golden call. So on the advisors, they every week there's a selection committee. They get together, listen to a good practice, and then they'll store the call locally so people can get it on the internet site. But they also recognise that person, that individual, for that golden call. And you can call it different things, but it's really good.
Can I update the group? And I know some of you may have been involved. Call coach is our instability. Anyway, in Orange, our call coach model for recording calls is going through a bit of a
Revamp.
Upgrade.
Thank you. I've lost it today. One of the opportunities in there that we're going to be working with the quality guys on is recording best calls as a learning resource. So absolutely, for me, this is about recognition and building that library. So we can use them in training, we can use them in inductions, we can use them wherever. So we'll be working with quality on that.
Ali, that was one of our answers as well, so cheers for that too.
That's also one of mine, sorry.
Shut up.
Oh, should I leave the room?
Sorry, I shouldn't be rude. Do you want to share that your what was your...
No, with LinkedIn, I've not had the opportunity to listen in, which was Roy, and around some of the stuff, I suppose it's time constraints and get creative around that, so you guys in call coach for good calls. Having a pre-call with the manager and even a video conference with the team prior to it, because if you're at a different site, it's not always practical to travel to the other end of the country, so if Caroline's in Plymouth and she's delivering in Greenock, it's probably not practical for her to travel there, but perhaps you could have a video conference for half an hour to introduce yourself beforehand or something like that.
That's I mean, you're a technology company, aren't you? Mm-hmm. So that's got to be something you can do and worthwhile. It's just making your life easier, isn't it? I love that.
Well, you can do the Skype thing with the IM, so you could even IM the team leader and, you know, have a video, so it's, because it's different over the phone, isn't it? When you can see you just introduce yourself and say a little bit about...
Can you imagine in pre-shift briefs, just doing that Skype and like the team leader's there with you on their shoulder and you're doing a bit of an introduction?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
And contextualise why you're doing that for exactly the reason. It's not it's not cost effective to send someone up to do this. You contextualise it better than that. But I think it's really good.
It's been really creative when you don't have the time to physically be there.
Absolutely.
Shove it up on the wall.
Shove it up, definitely shove it up there. We talk a lot about sustainability, but actually there's a whole section. If you imagine a learning journey prior to delivery, something we will focus on heavily is that pre-engagement. So the more you can do up front to get people ready for the training and in the right mindset, the easier it is for your life in the training as well. So you can do launch events where you get 50 people in a room for an hour, if you can get them offline. There's so many different ways you can do that kind of stuff. It's very important. Teaser campaigns. So let's come to this group.
Do you want to do this one? Oh,
Can you name quick before Alison claims it's hers?
yeah.
Have we got any bigger lollies?
Okay, the ones that we had was timing, which was Karen's, from timings. We've got humour, which is Graham's, and we've got doing everything at the beginning with the material. So the timings and doing everything at the beginning of the material kind of links into each other. So what we've done is we've put it as quick wins and also a long term kind of both there, because there's a couple of things you can do. When we get to know the material better, you start to understand the flow of it and how you can link back and how you can land a point, and the group really get it, you've acknowledged that, so you can move on quite quickly, so your timings then start to reduce. The other thing is, we all did it at the beginning of created, making sure that we ticked all the boxes and we covered every single point that was in the training notes. Experience has given us a few more tools for our kit, so now you don't have to do that. If the group get it, just check it and then move on. So those two go together. So where should I put them? In between?
Quick wins.
Yeah, the quick wins.
Cool. Are we happy with those? Any additions to those?
Can I give you a quick addition?
Yeah.
Some of you will have noticed I have a little
Yeah, your little
timer.
timing machines, yes.
These are fantastic. Whenever a person says you've got 20 minutes, if the team doesn't finish within 20 minutes, they always argue with the person if you say stop there. You have this, nobody has ever argued with this, which also means that if you're short for time and you don't want to give them 20 minutes, guess what I do?
Chief.
Absolutely. 18, 17, I've even had it down to 15. And everybody thinks, God, time has flown so quick, but nobody ever argues. So you can buy time. Really important.
I do that as well.
Only about £3 off eBay. I'll call themselves.
Yeah.
Use your iPhone, we've got a phone.
Yeah.
The other one was humour. Graham, do you want to add a little bit around this?
So you know nothing you've got to do.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, you're quite right. I suppose it's the humour of the group, because you've got salespeople who are really, really strong personalities, they're naturally humorous, and I think it's about how you pitch stuff correctly, so you can either be underconfident with it, or like some people have a defence mechanism like myself of humour, so like it's just making sure that you keep it appropriate all the way through it. So the solution we got for it was what you did this morning with a bit of context setting about what humour you would be using in what sort of context would make the session a little bit easier, so that's our quick win.
Graham, I totally noticed that when I went in to do observations, it was so different from our train the trainer and sign off because of the banter. And I think you don't practice that when you're all safe trainers in a room, doing me notes, and then you go and do it, and then suddenly they're like, pick it up at a point. So I really noticed that, and I think it's like how the trainer then reacts to that and then sets the tone for it.
Yeah. Great. There's loads of psychology around fun and humour, and about how, as human beings, we're more likely to retain information. I think it's the Emma will know this because she's big into sort of positive mental attitude. I think it's the University of Michigan and University in America have done loads of research around fun and how it influences people's ability to learn and be engaged in the situation. But humour is really important. But it's going with the group as well, and knowing what's appropriate as well is the key. Because just be careful. You know, I checked in with swearing this morning. I swear, but I got a feeling quite quickly that wasn't going to be appropriate to everyone in this room. Because we've all got different value systems, so it's important that you're not stepping over the line. Does that make some sense? It's respect for the group. So, okay, I love those ideas. Time-wise as well, a little tip for me, a top tip that works for me. It may not work for you, but here it is. I give 5 minutes for an activity, and I know it may take 10. But if I give them 5, what does that do for me?
It buys you 5 minutes.
Yeah. And what does people do sometimes?
Can I have another 2? We did another 2 minutes, and you gave us it, but you still gained 3 minutes, haven't you?
Yeah. And if the other side of that is if I give 10 minutes to a group, sometimes think about some of the groups you train. What's going to happen?
Talk about
If you've got a leadership program where you've got loads of time to have conversations and facilitation, and you've got time for material to go through it, that's fine. You know, take your time and go through it. You can go off in tangents. Selling with WOW is a very intense 3 days, so you have to, that's one of the things you have to be conscious of. Cool. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I've got one.
Go on.
This was Cara's. The stretch of learning myself as I help others learn. So I've put on here about sharing stories because they're on the same learning journey and they're probably feeling stretched as well. And then maybe think about when you're telling the story, doing it with the past, present and future. So you could say about before you're selling with WOW, during your selling with WOW, and then the future is now and beyond.